Are you tired of using this watering can to fertilize your plants? Save time after I show you how to build this fertilizer injector system for your garden. Take time from this, the hassle of this, and move to this. Watch and I'll show you how to put all the pieces together to use this on one hose bib or all your hose bibs just by moving it around. It works with your standard hose sprayer. So if you like to hand water your plants, but you don't want to use this anymore, then you use this with your hose end sprayer. If you have drip, you don't have to worry about this anymore and still run the drip. Build this. Make your life easy. We're all getting old. Unless you have a lot of time and you find this enjoyable, move to this. You and your garden will be happier because you'll most likely be more inclined to do what you need to do. Because I'm just bad about it and I won't fertilize my plants on a regular schedule like I should. And my garden suffers for it. So join me, let's get to work, and let's get this thing built. This is the parts list and tools needed for building the PVC frame. The PVC frame is going to be built out of 1-inch PVC pipe and fittings. You will need, starting on the left-hand side here and at the top, you will need 2 pieces of PVC cut to 36 inches long. You will need 1 piece of PVC cut to 16 inches, and you will need 4 pieces of PVC cut at 12 inches. For the fittings, you're going to need 2 90-degree elbows, 4 end caps, and 2 T's. These are all slip fittings so that we can glue them together. I, in my build, used a PVC pipe cutter. You can use a PVC saw if you like, a chop saw. You just want to try to get the ends as square as possible. And then you'll see down there on the far right, you'll see my PVC primer and PVC glue. We can start assembling the PVC frame. Go ahead and we can set our cutters aside. And let's go ahead and get our primer opened. Let's go ahead and assemble the PVC frame. I'm going to start at the bottom and get the end caps glued on these 12-inch long pieces. We've got 4 end caps. We've got 4 12-inch long pieces, and we want to glue the end caps onto one end of them. So at the end of the day, you'll end up with something like this. Now, you can just use clear PVC glue if you want, if you don't want to see the uglies. I always find this great practice to use the color of glues that you need to use when you pull permits when you're building things. And they like to see things when they inspect in different colors. So I always like to practice. So on your PVC, you're just going to go and do a couple of circles of the primer on the one end. You do the end cap and you do the pipe. Put that back down to the container. Now you can take the glue and just put a bead right around the pipe like this of the glue. Make sure it's well covered. And then you're going to push the end cap on, but when you push the end cap on, go ahead and twist the end cap and hold it in place. So see, I've twisted it and now I'm holding it. And you'll notice it'll make this nice bead, if you're lucky, from the PVC glue. And just hold it that way for a few seconds. occasionally the glue can kind of force the PVC joint apart, so you always want to hold it in. But, this is how you glue up the joint there. So we'll go ahead and get the other 3 pipes done here. Do that real quick. And you'll see that this will go pretty quickly here. Now, I'm not gluing for water, so you can see I kind of missed. But the nice thing is when you put it on a twist, it will, get the PVC across that area. You can see where I really didn't get it. It's now coming out on the joint here a little bit because of twisting it. Let's grab our next piece here. Now, I'm doing this in a specific order because aligning the pieces can be kind of a pain in the butt. And I'm going to make it an option for you whether you want to glue the final pieces together or if you want to leave it separate so you can disassemble if you need to pack it into a small space. I'll do that. Twist. Now, I don't have a lot of time to do this out here. We're currently in the 80s. I'm sitting in my shade house. So the glue sets pretty quick. See, look at that beautiful primering. Get the primer in there. Get rid of the excess glue. This might not be as pretty of a joint. I got a lot of glue under this one. Hold. And that's it. And look at that. I thought I did a lot of excess glue, but look at that joint. So that's the first part of doing the feet of the frame. Next, what we're going to do, because there's really no alignment issues, we're going to be doing the next part here, which is gluing a 12-inch pipe and a 12-inch pipe like this to form the bottom foot here of the frame. So this is the next set of pieces we're going to put together. So we can go ahead and do that now. I'll set that aside right there. We'll get this one right up here. Couple circles of the primer. And then a circling here of the glue a couple times around the joint. And as you can tell, I've had it run through the fitting here. But no better time to worry about it now here. And see, I finally got my first run of the glue. Did a little bit over there. So let's just go ahead and get this next piece primered. We got that all primered up there. Primer up this piece right here. And then some glue right there. We'll take our fitting and put it in and twist and hold it in place. Yeah, you can sit here and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's set at that point. So there we go. We've got one of our feet done. And let's go ahead and assemble the other foot. Oh, 1, 2. 1, 2. We'll set it down that way to let the primer, if it's going to run out the end. 1, 2. Grab our T, grab our fitting, twist, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's set. Yeah, we'll go ahead here again. A little swath of primer. Grab our last leg for the foot. Little swath there with the primer. And then we just do quick PVC. We don't have to be perfect for this. We're not running water through this part. Turn, twist, hold, and look at that. So we've got both our feet done. Now, this is a point, and this is going to depend on you and how well you want it to store. But we're going to take the two side rails, the two vertical pieces, and I'm going to glue one into each one of these feet. For me, that'll break it down to a nice size to store away if I really need to. So we'll go ahead and grab one of these 36-inch long pieces. And the nice thing is so far, there's nothing to worry about with orientation of trying to get things straight. But that will soon be coming to an end here. So let's go ahead and get the easy part done here. Swath, swath, swath. Get rid of some excess glue here. 2 rotations. Grab our leg. Hold. And press and turn the pipe and hold it. And I've knocked the camera around a little bit there. And look at that. We now have one vertical done. And now let's do the second one real quick. Hopefully I don't knock the camera again. Let's see what happens. So swath, swath, swath. I'm just going to reach over here real quick. A little swath there real quick. Grab our T, push, twist, hold, and look at that. 2 pieces are done. Now what we're going to do next in the frame here is we're going to assemble the top piece. This is the point where you want to make sure that you align these fittings the best as possible. So we're going to take our 16-inch long piece and we're going to do the easy fitting right now. And we'll go ahead and get that primered up. And grab a fitting here real quick. Boom. See, I got it running out the bottom of the fitting. If I was building this to sell or for production for a company, I would use a clear glue for this. And we'll do a swath like that. And we're going to take our fitting here, press, twist, and hold. Now, this is where the fun part starts. You can see here I've got the fitting right here. And what we want to do is this second one needs to go on here, and we want to keep it aligned with this other one. So I'm here on some concrete, and this is how I'm going to handle it. I am going to, get this all set up. And I can feel right here, that's perfect. I got it flat. I can feel this one that I have nice and flat. And we're really not going to be able to twist this last one. It needs to just slide straight on, keep the orientation, and, call it good. We're not flowing water through this. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of primer. Now, I will not be assembling this very last part with glue. This is so that I can take it apart. So we won't have a nightmare alignment to try to do. Now, make sure you're all ready. You got your fittings here. Here I go. I'm going to do my swath of glue. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to make sure this is flat here on this one end right here. And this is just going to press straight on. And I'm going to make sure it sits flat, the fittings, with each other. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5. And that should be straight enough. If you're gluing this last section here, you want to be careful doing this test fit. You don't accidentally want the glue that's flowed through the joints here. Make sure that primer's dry. And we'll see if we can do an assembly here. And let you see what the frame looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide this top piece on just a little bit. There's still some wetness here, so I want to be careful. And then the other piece will slide on like that. And that'll be the completion of the frame. Here is the completed frame with the top piece put onto the supports on the sides. This is the parts list for the mounting plate and the tools that will be needed to get the mounting plate assembled onto the frame. We're going to be mounting our fertilizer injector on a 12-inch by 24-inch piece of wood. I've already pre-painted it. You'll also need the mounting bracket from the fertilizer injector. You'll need a couple of 1-inch long drywall screws. You will need 2 U-clamp bolts, and these are 5/16 inch diameter bolts. It is designed for a 1 3/4 inch pipe, and it is 4.5 inches long. Now, I chose these to be larger so that there's a little bit of wiggle room. The tools that we're going to need to get this all assembled are some type of straight edge, tape measure, Phillips screwdriver, a pen, some type of crescent wrench, a 3/8 inch to 1/2 inch drill bit, and a drill. Now we can work on our mounting plate. I've already taken our mounting plate and I've put a center line down it already. So go ahead and, measure halfway. Mark it, use your straight edge, And you can go ahead and get that mounting place going there. Now, we can go ahead and do probably the easiest part of the whole plate here. And we're going to go ahead and we want to roughly center this. So this piece is 2 feet long. So I'm going to go put about a foot right there. You can see I have a foot right here in the tape measure. And we can mark that. And you don't have to be exact on this mounting plate. You just kind of want to center it. We can use the line right here to get it on there. And these are our drywall screws, so just push it in. And just go ahead and get this mounted plate. Tightly down on the bracket here. Make sure it's relatively straight there. And we can take the second screw, center it up in the slot area here. Now, I'm being lazy. I should have just, pulled out a small drill bit and drilled the pilot hole, but and we now have that bracket tightly put on the mounting plate. You can see here we've got our mounting frame, and we've got our panel, and we've got one of our plates here for the U-bolt. And what I want to do is you kind of want to center this, get it to a good place. And you want to make sure you push the board up so it sits up against the lip of the fittings here on the top. And I'm going to go ahead and get this laid down so that I can get this all marked out for you. I just wanted to show you how it is laid out and how I have the frame laying down, the board underneath it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the plate here on the center line to drill my holes here. And you'll see that the plate's right on in there. Now I'm going to drill the holes on one side, and then I will switch over after putting the U-bolt in. I'll move to the other side and get its holes drilled. I wanted to show you the one bracket is mounted here. It's not all the way tight, but it'll be enough now so that we can go ahead and get this second bracket drilled out. Okay, this is the mounting plate now mounted onto the PVC bracket. make sure you tighten down these U-bolts so that this can hold the weight of everything. Here is the parts list and tools needed for preparing the nutrient reservoir. You will need a 5-gallon bucket. You will need a lid for that 5-gallon bucket. You'll need a drill, and you'll need a 1.5-inch hole saw. Go ahead here and just place your lid on top of your bucket. We'll use the hole. You don't have to push it down or anything. You can tell my bucket already has a spot there that marks the center. You don't have to be perfect. We've got our 1.5-inch hole saw, and we're just going to go right in the center of the bucket. And we're going to drill until the drill bit goes through. The drill bit went through. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the drill in reverse, because these bits are real aggressive in the plastic. So you'll see here, we've gotten our hole through. And see, we can go backwards. Go backwards, and we get a nice clean hole. Look at that. And our bucket's now ready. This hole on top is so that we can put the tube in there with filter to pull the nutrient up out of the bucket. This is the parts list and tools needed to assemble the fertilizer injector assembly. We have here the fertilizer injector. It comes with 3/4-inch to 1-inch adapter, so we can use a 3/4-inch pipe. It comes with the mounting flange and the tools for doing maintenance to it. Then we'll need 3/4-inch garden hose. These are 2 pieces of it at 5 feet long each. Then we're going to start here. You'll see I have a pressure gauge with a 1/4-inch adapter on it. Then we have a 90-degree elbow. We'll need one of those. And it is threaded on both sides. Then you will need a 3/4-inch male thread to 1/4-inch female thread adapter so we can put the gauge in. We have a garden hose to pipe thread adapter, and those are both male end. You see down here we have some Teflon tape. We have a threaded 3/4-inch PVC tee. We have a 2-inch long PVC nipple. And then we have a female pipe thread, female hose adapter. Then to assemble the assembly, we will need a crescent wrench, some channel locks. And you will also need the male and female hose quick connect adapters. Let's work through assembling our injector assembly. Most of the fittings I have already put the Teflon tape on, but I'll go through here and show you how easy it is to put the Teflon tape on the fittings. I left one fitting left for us to work through. It's harder getting it out of the holder here than it is putting it on the fittings here. So you want to make sure you get all your male pipe thread fittings all Teflon taped here before the assembly. And you can see here I'm going to be going around this direction here with the thread for tightening. And as you can see, this isn't very wide. And you're going to want to go around 4 or 5 times and make sure you get a good taping of the fitting. Let's see, there's one fitting done. Now we'll flip over and do the other side of the nipple here. Well, you can see this is really just straightforward. And you want to do all the other fittings. And look at that, I'm out of Teflon tape. So you'll go through a perfect roll of Teflon tape there. And this fitting's all done. Now we're going to start off, I'm going to assemble the fitting set here for the output first. It's only a couple fittings, it's real quick and straightforward. So we're going to start with that. We're going to need the 90-degree elbow. And we're going to need the male pipe thread to male hose thread adapter here that you got. And you essentially just did one side of the elbow. Screw that in there. And you want to go pretty tight with it. And you'll probably have to grab some pliers here. Like I'm going to do here with the wrench. And I'm just going to make sure it's nice and tight here. So that's a nice tight fitting. That's all ready to go. Next, what we want to do is we want to work our way through the T fitting for the inlet. This is what has our water pressure gauge and everything on it. So we will go ahead and take that first here. Grab our T. We'll start with the top of the T here first. So this orientation right here. And we're going to put this fitting in just like this. And this is the male 3/4 inch pipe to female 1/4 inch pipe adapter. And we'll grab the pliers again. And we will make sure that this is in there. Nice and tight. So that fitting's in there nice and tight. And then what we have here is we have our pressure gauge. It's always good to kind of know the pressure of your water. It's a 1/4 inch thread, as you can see here. So we are going to go ahead and take that. And I've got it set here real nice. And just, you should have enough strength to be able to turn this without using pliers and get it nice and tight. And what you want to do is make sure you turn this so that the gauge is oriented so it looks like this. So now when this is on the fertigation system, you'll see it just like this. Now we have our last two pieces left here that we want to take a look at, and we have our 2-inch long nipple. You can go ahead and start screwing that into the PVC T here. And we have our female pipe adapter to female hose adapter here. And we want to put that onto the other end of the elbow. And just tighten these up. And what's nice is as one tightens up and gets tight, it'll start turning the other one as well. You're going to want to grab some channel locks here. And you're going to want to make sure that this pipe is tight here. This is a spot where you're going to get a leak. Okay, and that's tight there. And we'll make sure this one's tight right here. And look at that. So you should have a fitting at this point that looks like this. So now we have our inlet setting, PVC configuration, and we have our outlets here. So you should have your hose connection here, and you should have your hose connection here. Now what we want to do next is we want to grab our fertigation injector here, and you want to take, you see here we've got our 1 inch to 3/4 inch adapters, and we want to get these put onto here just like this, and you want to get those all nice and tightened up. And you'll notice here that this injector here has an arrow here, and you'll see that it's pointing this way. So this is going to be the inlet, this is going to be the outlet. So just go ahead and get these things really tightened on here. They'll probably bottom out even with all the Teflon tape. And see that fitting's nice and tight on there. This one's tightening up a lot sooner. That's a good sign. And oh, we're gonna have to use the channel locks here. This one seems to be on here well. Get rid of that extra little piece of tape. We'll do a 1/4 turn there. That's on there nice and tight. And what we can do next now is we can take our outlet fitting here, and we want to take this and go ahead and screw this onto the adapter here. And when it all is said and done, we want to make sure that the fitting is pointed down, straight down this way like this. So, you know, get that tightened on there. And I think I can do one more turn here. Yep, there we go. And I want to make sure it's pointed straight down. And then we can now finally pick up and take our inlet here and then do the same thing. Go ahead and get it threaded on. And we get our last twist here. Get this straight up and down. Now we got that straight up and down, and you should have an assembly that looks like this. Now you can come along, you can grab, this is the input here for the concentrate for the fertilization or whatever else you want to inject into the water. And just go ahead and tighten that on here just like that. And now we have our complete setup here. Go ahead and set that aside real quick. Let's go ahead and we'll grab our quick connect fittings here. And each one of these hoses, you want to put one of these on. So I've got one here where it's convenient. So I'm just going to put this fitting right on here, and this will be the input hose. And this other hose, I will put this for the outlet. So we'll get that on there just like that. Now we're going to get the rest of the assembly mounted onto the back plate here and complete the setup. I've got our frame with back plate right here. I'm going to grab our injector right here. Now we'll go ahead and get this injector mounted here. And we'll just get one side put in here first. Okay, you go ahead and see here. We got everything on the plate. So let's go ahead and do the parts list now for version A of the bypass assembly. We have 2 Y splitters, and these are all meant for screwing on the garden hoses. Got 2 of those there. Then we have the female end of a quick connect fitting here. And we have the male end of a quick connect fitting here. And we have a female hose to female hose coupler. And you'll see during assembly why this is real important. Let's go ahead and assemble version A of the fertilizer bypass valves. Now, this was done to save money. It doesn't look pretty. It might be a little confusing, so I will go through its operation so that you see exactly what's happening. But you see we've got our parts here. And what we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to take both these Y adapters. And I'm going to take the one and I'm going to put it on one side or the other. I'm going to just do the right side here. And I'm not going to do it real tight. I'm just going to do it so I can show you the assembly. So see, you'll have a hose adapter that looks like this. So connect the 2 T's like this. And on the top part of the T that goes into the hose bib, we want to take the female quick connect and we want to screw it right onto the end right here. So this fitting goes all the way up towards the top. And we screw that on there like that. Then we need this fitting here to be down here on the bottom. Well, if you notice, it's not going to go. So this is why we have this female to female hose adapter. And we're going to screw that right on there like that. And we're going to screw that on there like this. So, what you have here is you have a bypass assembly here. This goes onto your hose bib right here. This right here is the inlet to the fertilizer system that you'll see. So the water will go out here, and the outlet of the fertilizer system will come back in right here. This connection here is where you connect your original hose or drip system or whatever you wanted to put online. It goes right here. So normally when you're using it and you have a timer and stuff, you're always pretty much going to have this valve open. So you see that valve's open. And when you're not using the fertigation, you have this valve open. So this right here is just some weird looking thing and works just like your hose has always worked. The water will come in the top here. This valve here is open, so it'll let the water flow through and flow right on out into your hose. Now, when you want to hook up the fertigation system, you will turn this valve off. So see, now water can't go this way anymore. You'll plug in your fertigation here with the quick connect fittings. And then what you do is you turn this valve on and this valve on. So what we've done here now is the water will come in here from your hose bib. It gets stopped by this valve right here. It gets pushed out this valve since it's open. It flows through the fertigation system. Then it flows back in through the fertigation system through this open valve and then comes right on out and goes out to your hose here on the bottom right hand side. So that's version A of the hose bypass for the fertigation system. This is the parts list for version B of the valve bypass for our fertigation system. This is a 1 in to 4 out hose adapter, and this is a Y adapter. This is a female to female coupler for a hose. This is the male quick connect, and this is a female quick connect for your hose. Let's show you how version B of this bypass assembly is put together. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because most of my hose bibs, I have drip connected to it, but I also have a garden hose. So these Ys alone won't work. So we've got this 4-way one. So let's first start off and go ahead and attach the Y to the 4-way adapter. And sometimes they can be a little challenging sometimes. Okay, make sure it's, lined up. Here's our orientation. I have all the valves turned off right now. And we're going to take the female quick connect adapter and we're going to screw it onto the Y adapter up here. So now we have that screwed on up there. Then I'm going to take the coupler, the hose coupler here, and I'm going to go ahead and screw on the male quick connect adapter on one end. And with this hose adapter, you can see I can now put this fitting on the end here. So the assembly you have here is this right here, goes of course onto your hose bib. This is the input for the fertigation system. And this fitting down here is the output. So if we're not using our fertigation system, you'll end up having this valve open. And you will open, let's say you've got a drip line and a hose here. So let's say I have a drip irrigation system here, and let's say I have a garden hose here. These are open. We're not using our fertigation system at all. So you will see that the water comes in here from the hose bib. It flows right down through here, and it flows out these two fittings for you to be able to use your drip and your hose. Now, when we want to use the fertigation system, we'll hook up right here to the fertigation system, and then the fertigation output will come back to here. And we'll take this valve and we'll open it. We'll take this valve and open it, and we'll close this valve. So now what happens is the water comes in your hose bib. It goes out this open valve through the fertigation injector, and then comes back in this fitting right here through this open valve, and then comes and goes out through your drip line and your garden hose. Well, now we got a full functioning, ready to go system. We've got our bypass valve here that we've made, and we'll put that on the hose spigot. We've got our concentrate bucket. We have our fertigation fertilizer injector. And now, no matter what you're doing, if you water by garden hose or you water through drip, now you got something to do. And now you won't have to use that watering can anymore. And this is going to take a lot of time off my garden. Hey, and I like to, if you really like this style of video, give it a thumbs up. It'd be a real wonderful thing. If you really like my content, hit that subscribe button. If you feel like it, take a swing by my Etsy shop and see if you can find something to buy there. Or use any of the Amazon links just to give me some credit on whatever you buy. And if I've done my job, guess what? YouTube is suggesting another one of my videos for you. Thank you for stopping by.